Well, hello, and welcome to the Connect to Soul channel. My name is Yvonne Teoh Bource, and I dedicate my life to encouraging you to be empowered and live your best life. So, I've been a little bit absent in the last few weeks on YouTube, and the reason for that was that every time I wanted to go and record something, it was like I got this no, and I live very, very much according to what my inner voice is telling me to do, and all of this work comes from another place. Well, from within rather than from my head. So I was a little bit surprised this morning when I woke, and I had instantly this get on to your computer and it's time. The time has come. Now, in the past, most of my work has been about you are the creator of your reality and about manifesting that which you desire. Law of attraction stuff, that kind of thing. But all of a sudden it is like that is finished. Now, when you have dedicated sort of 30 years to something and then all of a sudden it says it's finished, it's a little shocking, and I said, well, that's very nice, and so what's next? And so what's next was really very, very interesting to me and made me feel very excited. And what they said, what the inner voice was telling me was that we are going to dedicate our YouTube channel to, yes, empowerment, absolutely. Yes, living your best life, absolutely. But it is going to be from the foundation of mental health. And look, I just realized that, I get a glare on my glasses when I do that because of my light, and I apologize for that. But what I have to say is more important than reflection on my glasses. So I'm just going to be here, and I have no idea what we're going to be talking about. But the energy that is behind this is so strong that I just had to get up and do it before I do anything else. Before I have breakfast, before I do anything else this morning, I needed to say what needed to be said. So let's see what needs to be said. And it is about making your mental health your priority every day and every moment of your life. What's fascinating to me, because I've become such an observer of life in general, is that over the nearly 80 years that I have been on this planet, the issues that humanity has to deal with change. And one of the issues that is now almost an epidemic worldwide is mental health. And it never used to be that. It wasn't a priority, it wasn't something anybody talked about. Mental health was for those people who, were stuck in an institution, and there are very few of them who weren't able to cope with their mentality, and it was usually really through trauma or injury or whatever. But these days, it is almost every single person on this planet is dealing with a degree of instability in mental health. And that to me is like, wow, what is that about? So I have talked a lot in the past about stress, and stress being the greatest common denominator for imbalance in health in general. But of course it's also imbalance in mental health. And what is mental health? Well, mental health is when your mind is quiet, when your mind is at peace, when your mind isn't running amok, when your mind doesn't have you by the tail and running around in circles. And so that too I've talked about before, but I've always talked about it from the perspective of you taking control and directing it where you want it to go. I have not talked about how important that is for your mental health. The distressing thing that has come up in the recent years in my immediate awareness is the mental health struggles that young people deal with. Now, that was never the case. Young people are supposed to have a stress-free life. They're supposed to play. They're supposed to get used to this planet, and not until they become adults are they supposed to start sort of thinking about responsibilities. But we're finding, young children these days who are just not coping with their mental health. They are wanting to opt out. It's too much for them. It's too hard. And that is our responsibility. We must change that. We must look at it. And it starts with us, the individual. What is your state of mental health like? If you have anything to say, please comment down there in the comment box. I want to hear about what mental health. Have you had any issues in your family, with yourself? How do you feel about it? Do any of your children look stressed? Do they not cope with what's going on in their mind? Because somehow we have created on this planet this external pressure that we as humans are not coping with well. And as a result, we are going a little bit loopy in that we need medication to calm our nerves. We just have no control over what our mental state is doing. So I really want to devote now my life for the next how many ever years to help you to create mental health. The basis is the same as what I've always talked about, and it is having control of your mind. But it is most of all calmness. It's creating calm in your life. We have this ridiculous conditioned habit now that we wake up in the morning and the first thought that we have is what we are having to do in the day. Everybody gets up and goes, oh, it's Tuesday. Oh, shit, I don't want to go. Oh, pardon me. That's my favorite swear word. But we get this thing, and I'm sure you use worse words than that at times in the morning when you don't want to get out of bed. How many actually wake up and go, wow, another beautiful day for me to experience this beautiful life? Not enough people do that. How many people wake up in the morning and take charge of their mental health? Now, how do you do that? Well, you lift your vibrational frequency to things that make you feel good. When your mental health is at risk, it's because you allow your mind to be occupied with things that create fear. Yeah, mostly fear. Doubt. Self-harm, self-deprecation, not feeling worthy, really beating yourself up. Those sorts of things create lack of mental health. So if we know that, then, the answer seems very simple. Not necessarily easy, but simple. Is that I need to flip that over and I need to create a state of mind, a mindset that says you are beautiful. Life is beautiful. Yes? And I can create anything I want, any state of mind. And that's where I want to go. I have spent so much time talking about that we can create our outer experiences. But exactly the same way, we can create and must create a mindset. A mindset that is going to make us feel good, that is going to make us, expand. And most of all, a mindset that's going to make us feel that we are coping. Because lack of mental health comes up when you feel you are not coping with your everyday life. So let me know, again, give me some signs down in the comment box. What do you think you're not coping with? I will answer you. I will actually communicate. And let's start to devote ourselves to, first of all, our own mental health. And as a result of that, the ripple effect will then create mental health in our families, in our communities. It's so important. I'm losing my voice because of it. Excuse me. that is so important. Mental health is, for me, essential to experience beauty, to experience love, to experience a good family. And we need that. We have lost, certainly in the Western world, we have lost that communication, that love, that connection in our families. I have seen so many fragmented families, and it's so unnecessary, because families need to be together, and that doesn't necessarily mean blood family. I have really, really close friends because, I migrated to Australia, so my family roots are elsewhere. And so, but I have family friends that are family to me. They're soul families. And we must collect our soul families where we feel nourished, where we feel supported. If anyone's listening to me who knows me very well, they'll know that I don't tolerate certain discussions around me that have to do with fear, that have to do with doubt, that have to do with judgment, that have to do with blame. And if that discussion goes on, I actually turn my back to it and walk away, because I don't want to be in that energy. So the first step that I will encourage you with to create mental health is love. It's the first, the last, and the middle. Love. Love yourself. Love your life. Love your family. Love nature. Love humanity. And have a sense of, acceptance and tolerance. Remove judgment out of your life. I can't tell you what that was like when I made that choice. Now, I'm human, so there are little things that I have certain judgment or probably preferences for, not so much judgment, but they're very superficial. And the weight that has lifted off my shoulders, because I used to be the worst judge, jury, and executioner because my father wasn't. I was very well brought up that way. But now I just see everyone is doing their best, as are you. You are doing your best. But is that best making you feel good? And if it's not, stop. So let's look at maybe 3 things you can do every day to support your mental health. And I always go back to the first thought that you have when you wake up in the morning, and you're going to hear me say that time and time and time again. What is your first thought in the morning? Well, that's when you start taking control of that mind. Immediately you wake up, you start to train your mind to create love in your life. So for me, I wake up and I instantly go, I love you, Yvonne. I love you. And yes, I love me. A choice. Why would I not love me? It's all I've got. But you see, the more I love me, the more I have to love you. Easy. The second thing that in the morning that is really important for me is to say thank you. And thank you for my warm bed. Thank you for another day of life. Whole day ahead of me to make choices that can make me feel good. But I can also make choices that will make me feel not good. So, but the choice is yours. The choice is mine. And then the third thing that I do, which I think is really paramount for me, is that I make a choice that wherever I go in the day, well, first of all, the third thing I do is to follow spirit without hesitation. So I tune in and I ask, where are we going? What are we doing? So I guess that's the third thing I do. So maybe the fourth thing that I do is set my intent. So it's 4 things. 3, you see, you got an extra now. So 4 things. I set my intent for the day. And my intent for the day is always, wherever I go, I want the people that I meet to feel better about themselves or the day after I've been. I want to spread joy. I want to spread love. I never, ever, ever go anywhere to eat without at the end going either to the kitchen or always to the people that have served me and tell them thank you. Never. It concerns me that people sit and they're so blasé. People are there offering their service and people just walk out. They don't pay any attention. Be grateful. Those people just gave you their time and their effort. Thank them. So, they are the 4 things, okay? First thing in the morning, I love you. Second thing is gratitude. Third thing, I connect to soul, source, whatever you want to call that, and go, follow spirit without hesitation to the highest possibility, always that bit. And then the 4th thing is always spreading joy wherever you go. Those 4 things, if you set them in place every day, just do it for a week and let me know, because it will begin to create a healthy mental state. I want everyone to feel without stress, to feel free, to feel without the pressure of that chatterbox in their head that is telling them a lot of things that are not true and making life miserable. So let's take hold of that and let's create mental health around the world, and let's start with you. Let me know, please, what you think, how you feel about this, because I'm going to be doing a lot of work on it and about it, because that's what I'm being told. That's where we're going. Mental health. It's necessary because I think humanity's lost the plot. So, you know, in the description box I've put some links to some other things that if you connect with me, there is a wonderful link there to an audio that I've done of the how to have a perfect day every day, and that is a set of daily statements to give you a fabulous day every day. And there are links to my website, so by all means connect with me and let's have you have a really healthy mental state. Now, click the subscription box and the bell beside and we will be connected. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to you and do not allow this little chatterbox to run amok. Namaste. Love yourself. I love you. Always.